How did you learn about sex?
Through music my dad used to listen to. There's this one song that's like, Friday night, hoo, good to go, Punani Patrol. We would always ask, what's Punani Patrol?
When did you learn about sex? I got like the birds and the bees talk from my dad.
My mom.
My dad.
My dad was kind of just like, you know what sex is, right?
I remember my dad just explaining like the various sizes of penises.
The way my mom described it, and I love this, she said, it's the best feeling in the entire world.
My parents taught me age-appropriate levels of sex positivity.
My grandmother would be like, oh, like, this is called masturbating, and this is called like a penis.
You know, the penis entering the vagina getting wet so that the penis actually enters easier.
We put condoms on dildos and like talked about STIs and stuff, and thanks Mom for making that happen.
When did you learn about sex?
I think my generation didn't really talk that much.
Didn't talk about that stuff then.
My parents never talked about it. They're foreigners, man. They're immigrants. Sex is a super taboo topic.
Asian parents are pretty conservative.
I still don't think I know what sex is.
When I was like 5, I asked, what is sex and is that how babies are made? They did not tell me the answer then. All I needed to know was do not have it till you're married.
When did you learn about sex?
Probably in school, to be honest, in sex ed.
Sex ed.
Sex ed?
Sex ed. When I was in like the 8th grade, they brought out a wooden stick and a condom, and I was like, ugh.
They had those educational videos.
We just saw a movie on kids out in a car or something.
I'm like, oh my gosh, my mom and dad do things? No.
No way my parents did that. My parents got in vitro fertilization.
What do they teach you in Catholic school sex ed?
Abstinence. You have a no-no zone kind of thing. You don't really talk about it.
God doesn't want you to have sex. That's what I learned about sex. So.
And today you still?
No, I've learned a lot. Yeah.
When did you learn about sex?
When I was like 5.
5 or 6,
9,
10,
12,
13,
14,
15,
16.
And what did you learn?
How to do it.
When did you learn about sex?
Too early. My parents were unabashed with the PDA.
My parents clearly loved and enjoyed each other and kissed each other and would pat each other on the fanny and that sort of thing.
I like walked in on my parents doing it.
We were living next to a brothel, so we would hear like weird noises at night.
When did you learn about sex?
Probably like elementary.
Elementary.
5th grade.
6th.
7th.
Middle school. Middle school.
Middle school.
middle school. There was this girl in our school who lost her virginity to a Snickers bar. And so, I mean, I was intrigued.
When you're with other kids, you talk and do all kind of stuff, you know, like let's peek and see what you got, what I got, how come you ain't got that, you know, kind of.
Kids were just like talking about fucking your mother, dicks, pussy, vagina.
I was in kindergarten on the playground, and this older girl, like high school, was like, hey kid, wanna hear something? And she told me about sex.
I have 3 older sisters, so they did the job.
My sister was like doing something like this.
My brother taught me. He was like, did you know that if you stroke your dick, there's this thing that comes out? And I was like, really?
One of my like cousins, he was like, do you want to have sex? And I'm sure he probably had no idea what he was actually talking about. And I remember my parents asking me, where are you guys going? I was like, oh, you know, I'm just gonna go have sex with my cousin. And then they had to break it down and tell me that you can't just go around saying that because it means something completely different.
My cousin used to tell me you pee on him. I found out later that wasn't true, but.
I learned about sex from hearing that girls were sucking dick in the bathroom.
We were trying to draw a diagram of how to give a blowjob because prom was coming up.
Oral sex sounded disgusting.
And now? How did you learn about sex?
Definitely Hollywood.
Watching movies. A movie called Showgirls.
HBO's Real Sex.
Cinemax.
Skinemax channel.
Channel like 70-something where it was like blurry and it'd be like a little soft porn. And you'd be like, oh, what the f is going on here?
Watching an R-rated film with the rest of my family, and there was just like sex on the screen, and I was like.
When did you learn about sex?
Online.
Honestly, on YouTube.
YouTube.
I would actually go to Wikipedia and then look it up.
I had some questionable internet searches.
What were you looking up?
Porn.
And my mom walked in on me watching porn.
What were you watching?
I think it was like in a classroom setting, and like the teacher was like this hot girl, and then she was having sex with a student.
When did you learn about sex?
Oh, I had to read about it.
I read about it. I studied it.
Books.
I actually got a pop-up book, and I would just make the book go back and forth because they would go in and out of each other.
How did you learn about sex?
Through music my dad used to listen to. There's this one song that's like, Friday night, hoo, good to go, Punani Patrol. We would always ask, what's Punani Patrol?
So how did he
He'd be
explain?
like, listen, what he's looking for is sex. And you can have that later, but currently, your penis is too small to do that. That's his sex talk with me is fucking traumatizing.